Good morning to everybody. Hello, Amy. Hello, Matt. From the wonderful Sprift to the great big property data cleanup. How did you come up with that title?
I think it was your Sarah that did, but yeah.
Oh, I see.
It goes back to our overall mission, what we're trying to do. But yes.
Okay, don't spoil it, because as you can see behind me, we've got more important things to deal with straight away. Now, I'm not going to embarrass you and to start singing because, we'll lose whatever viewers we've got already there. But, I thought it is, it's right to get into the mood. So I've got my little cheeky rosé for you.
That's
Because I do value you as partners, though, I won't start drinking through the whole episode because it'll go off the side of a cliff. I'll get in the zone about 20 minutes doing what I think is funny, and it'll collapse straight afterwards. So anyway, right. So first of all, let's deal with that. Okay, the birthday point then. So what is it? How old? How many are we celebrating?
We are 4 years old this month, and that's 4 years from when I decided, right, that's it. We are now going to. I'm now going to push ahead, and this idea I'd had for a year or two before that. Thought, right, okay, I'm going to push ahead, and that was when we actually committed to building Sprift, committed to the name Sprift, which stands for Smarter Property Information. And
you know what? That's absolutely terrible. I like to think, I've been quite supportive of you, and obviously have been as close to Sprift as anyone, and I didn't even know that.
And a lot of people don't. And my emails comes up quite often as Matt Sprift, so people think it was my surname, and I was that narcissistic. But no.
So this is your way of having a pop at me? Because again, I did think your name was Matt Sprift for about 3 years, didn't I? Thanks, Matt. Always a great way to kick off an interview by dissing the interviewer. Right, I'm going to get all Pac-Man on your asses.
Exactly. Come on, bring it on.
Bring on the pain point here. So, okay, so that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, obviously, it was a long time in the building, and we always. Look, you'll notice I've gone, because I'm quite clever now. I've gone to Matrix and data theme there, so I'm always thinking. People say, do you just rock up on the show and just do this off the cuff? No, there's a lot of time, effort. At least 5 minutes went into this.
Respect.
It's good. Okay, so and also data lakes whale, because that's obviously a phrase I learned from you, and I repeat it ad nauseum without understanding it.
Yeah, we noticed that became phrase of the week, then phrase of the month. I think that's been phrase of the last couple of years, isn't it, buddy? So
it is. Until people get bored of it, or me, in fact, I'm going to keep using it. So, okay, give us a bit of the background. Obviously, we'll come on to you, Amy, afterwards, because obviously you've joined the team and been obviously selling it like hotcakes, as they say. But Matt, give us a bit of background in terms of why you set Sprift up. What were you trying to achieve?
So, when I first conceived the idea for Sprift, obviously I'd been in property for a long time. I bought my first, I helped with my folks, bought my first investment property back in '99. And I was researching latest deal. I was thinking about either property investment or property development. And I was finding that I'm going, maybe starting on one of the portals. I'm going on all these other websites, trying to find out this information, do this sort of early research, if you like. And it was the time it was taking. And I thought, well, somebody must have. There were already established property data companies out there. I thought somebody must have thought about aggregating property at that individual property level. Couldn't find anywhere that was doing that. And so I thought, right, okay, well, I'm going to have a go at this. And at first, when I started talking to my peers and just other sort of property professionals that I was working with or mates with, it was conceived as a product really for landlords and developers. But very quickly, everyone said, no, buyers need this. Key facts at first inquiry for buyers, and start going and putting this in front of estate agents. So we built an early platform. It was early 2017 when we took the first started showing agents kind of the aggregated, the dashboard where we aggregate all this data. And since then, it's been very much co-created with agents. It's a long time since it's all all been my idea. Everything that sits on the platform and everything we pull in is because agents said, yeah, we want this, we don't want that. Give us a version that does this. And we've been very fortunate throughout all of our certainly since early 17. We've been given so much feedback because I think there's ultimately so much of a desire and a demand for what it is we're trying to do.
Well, let's just deal with that if we can, Matt, because obviously, everyone's just been sort of, it's now feels blasé, big data and everything else there, doesn't it, is a phrase often used there. It's fair to say, though, that what I really got attracted to, the first thing when I saw Sprift, was that you're really making quite, valuable use of that data. You're making it relevant, aren't you, to the not just the public, but being able to give agents that control that they probably didn't have before, unless it was locked away up here.
Exactly. With any kind of with any data lake, Simon, there's always a so what. So just a team comes to me and say, all right, we can now tell this, or we can now, because our algorithms have been going for some of them, been going for 4 years, and there's no shortcut with property data. The longer you're running, the longer the algorithms are going, the more insight and the more refined they get. And property data in this country is an absolute mess. And I often say that I think fintech is miles ahead of prop tech because they've just got access to better and more consistent data. So yeah, the information the information we pull together is the information that agents and buyers and sellers and other property professionals given us feedback. So that's what we want to see. The fact that we then aggregate it is a huge time-saving part. And it's not only open data now. There's lots of other data in there that you can't just go and get off the shelf if you knew where to get that. But taking that forward, the platform, the Sprift platform, what it does, it allows the agent, because all the agents have that local IP. So they know all about their local market, and so we allow them to marry that with all sort of the key facts about the property, and then have many presentation tools, reports to put in front of buyers, sellers, landlords, developers, and then ultimately pass on to other property professionals.
We got data lake, so I was going to play Sprift bingo to be fair. So we got data lake. Algorithm was one I knew you'd come up with. So I'm pleased with that. How much? I know we're going to obviously we'll put some sort of structure to this, but how much of this is genuinely down to those algorithms, and it's not just extraction of there? Is there a real? I mean, ironically, we are talking. People often say it's not about rocket science, but I know actually that's almost the background, isn't it? And you need to be able to have that, to correct that data in its core format to make it relevant, don't you? Is that one of the key challenges for you as a business?
Yeah. The first, so when I first started amassing the data, if you like, and working with amassing the data team to help me with this, I thought, okay, right, this is really easy because you go to land registry and you can download this, you can get a Google Maps plug-in, and great, we're often up and running here. The problem is that there's two problems. Firstly, there is data that's held at a national level. You can go and download, but it's very little. The real data you want is held by local authority level more often, and then you're just into a wild west of data lakes and data cataloging and the way that different local authorities will locate properties and hold their data or make their data available. So very quickly, what I thought was going to be quite, this should be quite easy to pull this stuff together. Then we're 4 years in and we're still going. And what the algorithms they do many things. We have many tools doing many, having to provide many different types of insight. But the biggest thing that they do is a translation piece, and I talk more about that than the algorithms, because we're delivering up property at that hyper-local level, but ultimately at property-specific level. You've got to know that, right, okay, so Google and Google Maps and Google Street View will catalogue your property like that. Amazon will catalogue it like this. OS will catalogue it like that. Land Registry think it's this. Your local authority call it this. So a huge piece of what we do is actually just translating all of the different ways people will catalog, locate, identify your property, and put it down into one. And there's something that's being launched, I think it's this month or next month, and we're doing sort of a piece on it, all about UPRN, because UPRN and some of the most advanced or sort of tech savvy agents that we come across are now starting to talk to us about, oh, right, we've now got UPRN for all the properties on our database. Have you? Oh my God, right. Well, that makes the matching of all the data to your properties in your database so much easier. It's the only true sort of unique identifier. It's called unique property reference number. It's the only real unique way of identifying properties, every single property in the UK, and so much data goes back to that.
So your core customers, in terms of because they are targeted towards different sort of client marketplaces, aren't they? So you've mentioned, there's developers, new homes, there's agency, there's investors, isn't there? How does that split in terms of just in terms of percentages? Is it like 70% in terms of residential agency? How does it break down for the business at the moment?
Yeah, pretty much. We're about a bit more than that at the moment, or certainly for the last 18 months, I'd say. The business has been very much driven forward by resi agents, and the feedback from those guys, the way that we've listened, we've worked, we've adapted the product, the platform for their needs. It's grown phenomenally, and then we have. And I say that with weight, that makes up actually about 80% of our client base at the moment. Then we've got about 10% at landlords and developers, and then we've got, if you like, our emerging markets. So now what we're getting is we're getting conveyancers, we're getting mortgage brokers and lenders looking at the data. Surveyors are now starting to go, oh great, well this is perfect. This fits really well into my desktop valuation. So. And especially if we've got the whole comparables piece in there as well. So so they're so that's how our makeup is at the moment.
You got a fan there straight off the bat, Mr. Perdios, with a completely faked Photoshop picture, but he wishes he still looks like that. But we use Sprift, and it's great. So that's as good as it gets, don't we? Amy, obviously, people we've listened to the founder, and obviously into the
for too long.
What's the reality? Because people always ask my team if they want to know the truth about Kerfuffle. So in terms of your background is you were at Romans for a number of years, obviously one of the very best agencies in the country. Was it last year you joined up? Was it?
Yeah, so been with Sprift since literally just over a year now. So June last year, I left agency. So I was with Romans for just over 12 years, I think it was, and obviously one of the first companies to get repit, which was just phenomenal. And then I worked for Davis Tate, who for just over 4 years, which are one of the LSLI brands. So a real good mixture of different agency experience. And then decided to join the prop tech world, and Matt seemed to steal me away from agency and has picked my brain. It hurts now quite a lot.
Just as a separate is basically, whenever I interviewed agents wanting to join up, my sole pitch used to boil down to, and you don't have to deal with the great public again. The general public, do you? It's just B2B, and it's like, yeah, I'm sold.
Yeah, do you know what though? The one aspect I do miss are my clients, and it's love. I'm an estate agent in my heart, so I love dealing with agents because the banter and the comedy and the conversations we have are just brilliant, and it's just fun with the agents. But I do actually miss some of dealing with general public a little bit. I don't miss working Saturdays, but I do miss some of my clients. I think the buzz of getting that completion, handing over the door key, you're never going to lose that as an agent.
Hang on, you were putting extra hours in on Saturday. You still tell me?
Yeah. Yeah, well, unfortunately, a lot of my clients still work Saturdays, of course, so they seem to think I still do.
there's some great features on the iPhone, divert and all that sort of stuff. So what, looking at it almost before you joined up, what was it that attracted you to Sprift? You know, looking at it still with your agency head on.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. So I was literally demoed kind of Sprift, if you like, whilst I was still in agency, and I just thought it was phenomenal. And obviously back then it was so different to what it is now. It was still, you know, very sort of just the dashboard, and Sprift were looking at how they could evolve and grow, and they were looking for an ex-agent to kind of pick the brains and how could they, you know, turn Sprift into an even bigger business winning tool for agents to actually use. Yeah. And that really, really appealed to me. I think there's two things. Firstly, I saw the platform and was just blown away by it. Just from a val preparation point of view, it was just, you know, for me, I could spend up to an hour researching a property, especially the bigger, larger kind of properties where I was working. And Sprift literally cut it down to a couple of minutes, which is phenomenal. And then also I really was quite excited about joining a company that was still growing and actually being a part of something that was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and being a part of that development process, not just the sales side of things. So yeah,
that's really exciting, isn't it? Being part of you know companies going places and everything else. That's really nice. And that, just let's touch on that point. That's really because one problem that a lot of agents, if they admit themselves, they can fall into the trap of that. Everyone's talking about being the purple cow and standing out from the crowd, and then the first time you actually meet the vendor, you take out your Rightmove comparables, and it's like, where's the point of difference? So how important is that you can differentiate yourself with Sprift and obviously the tools you've got in that area?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly important. And I think one thing that's been really interesting is the key facts for buyers that we launched actually during lockdown has turned into almost a bigger instruction winning report than the market appraisal report, because the market appraisal report, that's great. You go through your comparables, you go through the pricing with the seller. It does look different to a Rightmove or a Zoopla or on the market kind of report. It's more bespoke and branded up for the agent, so it looks better. It has a lot more knowledge and research. It shows the agents done their research in a lot more depth than just looking on Rightmove. But I think that the key facts for buyers has turned, you know, over the last couple of months into a huge instruction winning piece for agents, and you know, potential sellers and clients are just massively impressed.
I knew about you really well anyway. You are used by so many agents. I hear the feedback. I'd encourage everyone to get in contact via on the landing page. Go have a look at Sprift on Kerfuffle. Actually, just today we've gone from kerfuffle.it to I got the .com today, so I'm quite. So no longer do people see us as an Italian spam company. Just have a look at Sprift, have a look at Kerfuffle there. Obviously, reach out to you guys directly and just talk about it. But I think everyone should be having a look at what you guys. We haven't even talked about all the fantastic ways that you can help out, obviously, on the letting side of things with your investor ones. But we'll save that one for another day. Always leave them wanting more.
Yeah.
Matt, absolutely fantastic to have you on. I'm glad to hear the business is going so well. Catch up with you soon.
Thank you.
It's sung, and that's all she